Hi guys, this is AC Gamer back with a new video on Counter Side. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is going over a tier list that I have for the Ranger characters. So I made this tier list and I know there is a lot of good SSR Ranger characters in the game, so I decided to make a tier list on them. So hopefully you guys actually like this video. Stay tuned for more content on Counter Side. Let's get to 10k subscribers. At 10k subscribers I will be doing a giveaway, so definitely stay tuned for that. The Ranger characters in the game are one of the best characters in the game overall. Obviously striker characters are also like top tier units out there, but Ranger characters literally help you win matches in PvP, and in PvE content they deal the most amount of damage if I'm not wrong. So right now on the screen you will be seeing my tier list that I have for the Ranger characters. A lot of people might be wondering why I decided to put Elizabeth in A tier. That is just because I feel like Elizabeth is probably the weakest out of the top 3 that you see on top. Now it doesn't mean that Elizabeth is weak, it just means that she could technically be replaced in your team in the future, but for now she is technically a character you can go ahead and use. You use Elizabeth right now if you want to go ahead and target airborne characters, for example Rosario, or if you want to go and hit the backline. You would rather use the Shinjiya rather than use the Elizabeth if you want to target land-based enemies, but for air-based enemies like the Rosario you definitely want to use the Elizabeth. But in the future Elizabeth will become a character that you can use, but not essential to targeting airborne characters, especially with the release of the Awakened character that will be coming out very soon. Because Gayun is always banned. The reason why Gayun is always banned is obviously because she's just too broken. Her stuns and her deployment cost is very low for what she does. Now that is actually a good thing, because at a free deployment cost you can easily deploy her in matches. If we take a look at the Elizabeth, she has a 4 deployment cost, which is definitely higher than the Gayun, and in my opinion Gayun should have been a full cost unit, because at a free cost she's just too broken. Even with a ban 1 you can still go ahead and use Gayun and she would still be fine, and yeah, still going to be annoying units in PvP. Gayun stuns. Gayun is a Ranger character, she deals a ton of damage. If you see a Gayun in PvP, just make sure you kill her with an Elizabeth or with Kang So Young. Just make sure that she's dead or you would lose, guaranteed. Also Rosario is at S tier just because of the amount of damage she can do in PvP and the PvE content. Now obviously later on for PvP she is going to fall down to like A, because there is going to be the brand new Queen of the Skies, the Awakened character. Little Rosario right now at the moment is definitely very annoying in PvP. If you take a look at PvE content right now, she's probably the second highest stealing damage in PvE. I still think the brand new deal we got is probably going to deal more damage than the Rosario, but Rosario is still a contender for one of the highest DPS damage dealers in the game. And considering that she was released earlier in the game, even in the KR version, and she still remains as a very good unit, I think she deserves to be in S tier. So yeah, high DPS damage dealer, and she is a sky unit, so therefore if your enemies don't have characters that can attack airborne enemies as well as the land-based enemies, then she's just going to remain alive. Obviously you can counter her with the Elizabeth. As you can see, most of the units that are in S tier can be countered by Elizabeth, but the thing is Elizabeth will always be a second choice against those 2 units. But Kang So Young I really do enjoy in terms of she's very annoying. At a 2 deployment cost, I just think it's very unfair, because she is just too broken, and the amount of damage she can do when you spawn her in with the card that she spawns is a mess. And the stronghold that can just quickly go all the way to your base and just silently targets that is pretty annoying. So Young, you usually deploy her when you want to kill sniper characters. Now if she was a character that you can use to deploy to kill Rosario, she would be completely like broken, but because you mainly use her to hit land-based enemy and the amount of damage she does is quite high, she definitely is a staple unit for like PvP oriented teams. Now in PvE, would you use Kang So Young? At a 2 deployment cost and as a character that you can use in the soldier team, you can still use her. However, she shines mainly in PvP because of the extra damage that she does to counter units. If you're not going against the counter units, the amount of damage she does isn't going to be as high, but still worthwhile using. Now at A tier, as you can see, we do have the Elizabeth. Like I said, Elizabeth is a character you can actually like put in S tier if you really wanted to, but because I don't want to have too many characters on S tier, decided to put her in A tier. If she does get a ban 1 in PvP, she's completely done. At a 5 energy cost, it's just not worth using her at all. But in PvE content, she's also going to be a contender for one of those units that deal a ton of damage. Now, if she is stunned with her rest of her ability, she would be broken as well, just like Gaeyun. But the only skill that she has that has stunning ability in is her ultimate, and you have to make sure she stays alive to do her ultimate. And she's kind of a squishy unit. You primarily use her just for like a quick burst of attack, just like how you use the Awakened Yumina. And in PvP content, very useful to have. Obviously, if Gaeyun still remains as a meta character, just deploying Elizabeth to kill her would just be a safer bet to do, as well as Rosario. I mean, you can go ahead and use your own Rosario to counter the Rosario, but then you can also use Elizabeth, and that should be fine as well. Next up in A tier, we have Shinjiya. Now, you can technically say that she is a B tier or like an A tier character, because she is able to give you some useful buffs, and she's able to clone herself, which gives her some utility and usefulness in some stages, especially in PvP content when she's able to buff and clone herself. She's technically a unit that if you want to fill off your spot with another ranged character, you can definitely go ahead and put her in. Now, she is like an A tier character, but later on will fall into the B tier category. Next up, we got Giant Mason, which is a useful character to have. The fact that it's able to spawn in a big boss is going to be very nice. You can put him in the soldier team if you want to. It's a great addition for that. Nothing too bad about the character, it's just a typical average unit. Next up, we got the free character you get given by completing the first act in the story stage. We got Shiyun, I believe. Yeah, she's just an average unit, nothing too much to talk about her. You can't really use her for damage. I wouldn't recommend you guys using her in PvE or PvP content. There's just better units to use overall. So yeah, that concludes the tier list for the ranger characters. I probably will do this for the rest of the other units out there, for example sniper characters, tanks, strikers. I mean, with striker characters, it's technically easy to already know which units are the best striker characters out there. But yeah, stay tuned for that. It's been your boy AC Gamer, and I'm out.